of the Select Board of the Town of Shaftsbury on Monday, May 20th, 2024 at 6 o'clock. I'm Naomi Miller, Chair of the Select Board.
That mic over, because Shelley had said that she could not hear us when she was doing the minutes.
Snowball?
Yeah, the snowball.
The snowball? Okay.
She had mentioned that to me last time, that she could not hear anybody except me for actual dictating. So everybody use your proud voices this evening.
Okay. Does anybody have a conflict of interest with anything on this agenda?
No.
No. The minutes, we don't have any minutes, do we?
No.
Not yet.
They're probably online.
The warrants, can I have a motion?
Usually you give the number.
Right.
The
number first?
And
Well-
how much it's for.
Thank you. Number, that's right. Check warrant report number 44, and the full total of it is $52,091.89.
I'm sorry.
We just had a
The
technical
laptop just
error.
crashed.
Oh, boy.
Okay, the laptop just crashed, so we're gonna take a little break here.
We're going to thank everybody for coming to the potluck. That was lovely.
That was great.
And great food. So thank you,
Yeah.
everybody, for attending.
That was a great showing, thanks.
Delicious food.
Yes.
Don't let me forget, I left my pasta salad in your office there, so.
Yep, I know. Not the only one. I've
Leave here with that
got
again.
things in there, not to worry. We're up and running.
Was there anybody on Zoom, Jen?
No, there was not.
Oh, that's good.
Okay.
So
It would have been you.
now you're here.
Instead, you're here.
Lovely.
But we do use it for recording for the purposes of the minutes, so we need to.
Right.
Recording in progress.
There we go.
Okay.
Okay.
Good job.
So, check warrant number 44 for $52,091.89.
So moved.
Thank you,
I'll make a second.
Tony and Mike. All right, so there is A&K Agri Services for $2,348.48.
Yeah, that's for road gravel for the DPW.
Road gravel, okay. There are several to A.T. Huzik, the largest being $4,997.46.
What is that for?
What is that for?
That is for truck 3, as per Mike. Repairs for truck number 3, and then the other two for 245 and 396 are gas, oil, and diesel, and just repairs and equipment.
And then there's the Bennington County Sheriff's Department for $3,360.
Yep, for their services.
That's for our services, right, from them. GA Bove Fuels, $1,336.13.
truck fuel.
Truck fuel. Comcast, $647.20 and $29.95. And that's our internet service.
Utilities, yeah.
Cut Systems for $440. Nope, for $170.
170. That's record room solution for Marlene, for the town.
Oh,
Record
for,
room
like,
solution.
Yes.
putting them into the
Yeah.
listing books.
Right.
Great.
I had to kind of look that up too.
The Dufresne Group, $3,530.
Engineering consultants, probably for the sewer
Sewer?
ability study or the CCRC, they're kind of overlapping at this point, so
Yes. It's a lot.
one of those. Yes.
Okay. What's Endine Inc. for $70?
Water testing,
For
probably.
over by the transfer
Yeah.
station?
Well, so,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay, Fire Tech and Safety of New England, 1,570.
Annual compressor service and a service call. And the compressor service is an OSHA requirement every year. That's what that's for.
Goldstone Architecture, 2,708.60 cents. And that's in relation to,
The note here says ARPA expense, the ARPA committee expense. So they're the ones we're using
think-
to figure out the rec center and all that.
yeah, Innovative Surface Solutions for $5,454.36.
Calcium chloride for both of those. That's for road treatment. So I asked Mike, what does that do for the roads? And it keeps
Dust down.
the dust, I'm learning this, so keeps it from being extra dusty. Yes,
On our 68 miles of dirt
that's
roads.
right, that's right.
70.
70, oh, but who's counting?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's two of those
Yes.
for 5,450 something. Keith Miller, Plumbing and Heating for 200.
Repairs and maintenance. I believe, I didn't look this one up, but I had a conversation with Josh last week, and I think this one had to do with Howard Park, getting that open for the
bathrooms,
season.
I bet,
The bathrooms.
Yeah, that's
And he said, yeah, we needed a plumber to come in and do plumbing things. Yeah.
M&T Bank, 3,268.61.
This is our town visa, so there are several things on it. Amazon, I think those were the laptops. Are those the laptops? We have Amazon, a Zoom is the video, web, UPS and Copy Express. The 837 were the two laptops. Gina's and Mike's were replaced. The 1350 is a municipal road general permit. It's a once-a-year thing. I'm still kind of looking into that. I found the paperwork, but I knew that's what it's for.
That's just us saying that we, will comply with the
Okay.
rules. We sign it once a year.
Oh, yeah.
Once a year.
Yeah.
They give us
Okay.
our money for the roads, assuming that we say that we'll
Need the right
Our
things.
standards,
Meet the standards,
meet the
yeah.
standards, yeah.
And office supplies and such.
Okay, great. There's a $5,141.79 for a reimbursement to Paula for moving here. Thank you very much. That was
Welcome.
part of
Oh,
her
thank you.
contract. TAM, 3 checks to TAM, the big one for $9,076.36.
This is for cleaning out the house behind us and hauling
Wow.
it away.
Wow.
And you should have seen the list of things
Sure.
and
So they've removed everything from inside the
inside of the
interior
house. That's
portion of the house?
my understanding. Yeah.
Wow, that was a project.
Because then it has to go somewhere, so they had to haul it away as well.
Great.
And they did the clean out
Wow. In hazmat suits.
in hazmat
Yes,
suits.
everything.
I'm so glad Mike's people didn't have to do that. Okay. I guess that's it. That's either noteworthy or over 1,000. Any discussion beyond what or any questions for Paula about this? Nope. Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
Hi.
Aye. 401. We are up to announcements.
So I would just like to announce, we are having our biannual Shaftsbury Memorial Day Parade. That will be happening Monday, May 27th on Memorial Day. We have our 8:30 little ceremony of laying the wreath out here at our memorial, and then the parade will step off at 9 o'clock here at Cole Hall and go around Cleveland Avenue like it always does. So if you're journeying around, you may get diverted for that brief time for about 40 minutes or so. There will be a wreath laying service and taps at the Cleveland Avenue Cemetery as well, so everybody is welcome to attend. Certainly, if you'd like to participate in the parade, come join us. We step off at
Yeah, I had contacted somebody about antique cars. I never got a response.
Okay, so we're gonna bring that up a little
Yeah,
later
okay,
on,
sorry.
some things, but yeah, that's,
Excuse me, Paula, wasn't there a pile of payroll warrants?
Oh, yes, they're in here. I've never done those before,
Thank you.
but they're in here. I do have them.
I worked hard on those.
I know. Make sure I got them. Here they are.
Okay, so this one is
There you go.
good to go. Stepping backward into warrant land. This is payroll 18. Oh, my. Okay. So,
Those are, we did not have payrolls going into the, into NEMRIC. I mean, obviously, we're paying payroll. It's just,
Right.
it doesn't get into the system until there's some extra work that has to be done on them, and it was not done for a long time. So I played catch up. So that's going all the way back to, I think, February.
Wow.
So you'll see there's a whole bunch of them.
oh, so
Wow.
they're individual. She's
okay.
Each of the
Each one of
paper
them.
clips is a different warrant.
Yeah, okay. So we need to do each of them
Yep.
separately, right?
Yep.
Okay. Payroll warrant 18 for 129.50, no,
It's
sorry,
the-
for
it's the-
25,907.
It's the number that's in the text at the bottom, not the bottom line one. I'll explain why to you
Okay.
someday, but it's very boring. So yeah, it just.
It would help me understand what I'm
yeah,
doing, thank
The amount
you.
in the text is the.
Okay, so payroll number 18 for 25,147.83.
So moved.
Second.
Tony and Mike. Okay. We don't need to
No.
read these
No,
off.
it's just the bottom line on those.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Don't pay those people.
You've already done it.
A few months ago.
Okay, and I don't see a,
There should be,
At the bottom,
right there. No, first page.
right there.
All those lines are us.
oh, they are, okay, thank you. Okay, payroll warrant 19 for 24,180.69.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 401. Yes, I'll pass it.
It's good, yeah. We can do a boarding house one.
Payroll warrant number 20 for 26,460.05.
So moved.
Tony,
Second.
Mike, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 401. Payroll warrant 21 for $30,085.32.
So moved.
Second.
Second by Mike. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 401. Payroll warrant 22 for $25,303.19.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Mike, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 401.
Sorry, I didn't say it. I said it in my head. I had to
That's
say it.
right. We're saying it now. Too many ayes.
And lastly, payroll number 23 for $33,369.33.
So moved.
And second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Melanie. All right. So, back to announcements.
That was the
So
only
the
one
Memorial Day Parade
is happening,
is going to happen.
May 27th.
At what time? 8:30?
8:30 is when we lay the wreath and do the little ceremony for the veterans, and then we'll step off the parade at 9.
Okay. No other announcements? Okay. Public comment. There's 2 members of the public here. Nobody on Zoom. Would you, either one of you, like to comment on the proceedings? Okay. Thanks for being here anyway.
Just gonna send these on their path back.
Yep, back to...
Treasurer's report.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Can we take a look at the cash flow, please, Jen? Let's see. Okay, so we talk about this time of year. This is when I start getting nervous because we've got the cash. We know how much cash we have to get us through to the end of June. We cannot get a line of credit before July 1st, so this is when we have to start pinching pennies. Actually, we don't need to because we've been meeting the budget all year, so we're actually fine. This is just my own nervousness, but it's not based on anything. You can see the reserve cash due to general fund. Those are checks that we have written on some of the reserve accounts, but the money needs to be sent back to the general fund. So this time of year, I keep a very close watch on that because that's one way to keep our cash balance up in the general fund. So you'll see the other side of that when we look at the reserve account spreadsheet. We've already talked about that's another nice chunk of delinquent taxes that we've talked about the last few times. So if we look down there at the cash balance, that's $215,766.26. That's as of today, as of before all of those checks that you just approved. So that's the number that I'm keeping a close watch on this time of the year. We are getting 92,000 and change from the schools for the final cash flow from the state. This happens this time of year, and it's usually in that neighborhood. It's as far as the schools are concerned, or the state is concerned. Excuse me. It's practically rounding error, but it's nice money for us. This time of year. That's basically that they had us write checks that turned out to be slightly higher. This happens every year. So that's just becoming, one of them came today, and the other one I'm assured will come in the next few days. So that's a little bit more of a buffer. I am already in contact with my contact at the bank to tell him that we're probably going to need a line of credit this year. We did have one last year. We just did one draw on it, I believe. But just because we don't know exactly when we're going to get the tax bills out, and as soon as we do, the money starts flowing in. So it's that's just a little bridge to get us until the tax money starts coming in again. So I don't look at the budget in the middle of the month because there's too much information that's missing still. It doesn't really tell you much. The last time we looked at it, we were in very good shape, and nothing has changed to make me feel any less confident about that. Any questions about the cash flow? No. Okay, if we could take a real quick look at the reserve cash. I know it's hard to read because there's a lot of information there. So if you look at that debits column there, about towards the middle, that's the other side of that 19,000 I was telling you about before. So you can see that you wrote some kind of a check in the last couple of weeks, I believe, that was drawing on ARPA. It was probably the architects. So that's that money being returned from the ARPA funding to the general fund. That's the other side of the 19,000 you saw before. Also some water and listers reappraisal. Did I not? Can we see the very bottom? There you go. So that's our the cash balance in the reserve accounts, which you also saw on the cash flow. But that's a number I keep a close eye on. Any questions about any of that?
No.
Okay.
With that tax line, that's money collected since we had our meeting 2 weeks ago even? Is that probably spanning that time?
Yes, I think that is, yes, because what we looked at last meeting was April collection, so that this is one that came in May. Oh, yeah, so I wanted to say about the line of credit. I've already talked to, as I say, I've already contacted the bank about it. The people who've been here for a few years know there's a pile of paperwork we're going to need to go through. We have to approve it in a warned select board meeting, so I'm going to aim to have the paperwork ready for the first meeting in the new fiscal year. So that's something to look forward to. Okay. Any questions about any of that?
We'll sharpen our quills.
And just be careful, you've got a bleeding arm right there. at this
Oh, my
moment.
goodness, how
So I
did that
don't
happen?
really know why.
I don't know.
I've been
We have a
noticing.
vampire bed?
Puck
Yeah,
injury?
that's scary.
Or a really mad black fly.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. That's such amazing work that Holly is doing.
She is really
She's like,
cutting away piece by piece at it, and really incredible work.
the Memorial Day Parade update. Martha, this is yours.
Yes, so we had a few things that we had kind of all decided, and so Tony, you just said that you had tried to see if there were anybody that
Right,
could,
I didn't get
and nobody
didn't
kind of
get a
came back. That
response,
seems to
no.
be the name of the game here.
I did. I reached out to Jeff Johnson, and he responded that he didn't know about it and he would pass the message on, but it didn't sound like there was going to be
a lot of youth participation in this, Memorial Day Parade, which is unfortunate. We used to have quite a huge
Yes.
Memorial Day contingent from the school system.
Maybe it means war is going out of fashion.
What was going on? War is going out of fashion. Well, yes, maybe that's it. I don't know. So Marlene has been working very diligently in the background to try to pull this all together. We're kind of in a transition phase with our veterans group, which used to be a very vibrant committee. Many folks have passed on or have become kind of had a more difficult time kind of managing doing this parade, which kind of was their purview for many a year. And so I think that we'll have to kind of discuss and kind of figure out how we kind of move forward, because this has been a very long-standing tradition in Shaftsbury and North Bennington to go back and forth with honoring our veterans.
And I had a very nice young man come in today who happens to be a veteran, and he is still full-time in the Vermont National Guard. I think right now they have a 9-month-old baby, so he can't be a lot of help right now, but we also have a veteran sitting in the room with us that may or may not have some time to join the committee. Probably not this year, but in another year maybe.
He was very good at...
He has a very nice smile.
He does, and people respond to that smile, I think. So anyway, I think we might be able to get a few more veterans, hopefully, in 2 years to help, because they're the ones that really know how to get this done, who to contact. I am going to try to meet with Mr. Harwood again this week and get some more things straightened out. But I think this year we're not really going to know who's going to come until they show up for the parade.
So it may be a fairly small turnout, similar to kind of the one that we had 2 years ago, just because we haven't been able to get a lot of momentum. So if there are people out there that would like to participate in this,
show up. We will
please
put
show
you in
up
it.
at 9
Yes.
o'clock. We always have
before
the
9, 8:30.
Oh, yes, to get
8:15.
everybody lined up.
Yes, that would be wonderful.
But yes, we always have the North Shaft Lions. We are going to have
The high
combat
school-
veteran riders. We have
Yes.
Mason Mills and the Mount Anthony High School band, so they'll be able to play taps for us.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Shaftsbury School Band is not going to be able to participate this year, but the high school band will, so that's
we
good.
have that, and Yes, typically,
We have 6 days to put this together. We will get it done.
yes, we are going to make it happen. Typically, members of the select board are obviously welcome to join and walk in the parade.
Actually, you're encouraged to do that.
There we go, coming from Marlene herself.
As well as our state rep, who I think will be.
Yes. Hopefully, we will have a car or two if you want to ride as opposed to do the little walk around the square. Yes, our person of honor. He's very good at being kind of our grand marshal.
Santa Claus himself.
Yes, exactly. Are there any other things that we were thinking about that? We are trying to get a color guard. Yep, well, I'll be with you in just a moment. To carry the flags, which usually happens, but they're in high demand with all of the different Memorial Day parades that are happening.
I am just learning who to contact, and you have to get them early.
Yes.
So in 2 years, we will be more prepared.
And we just need to get in touch with, we don't know if it's the sheriff or the state troopers that do kind of the blocking off of the
Yeah, I was gonna
road
ask
for
about
that.
But we'll
And
make sure
we
that happens.
Also need to know about the firefighters as well, because they often are driving the trucks, and I
Yes,
don't know
and
if
I-
we've reached out to them.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
good.
we have, and I will reach out again, and, I mean, a lot of people got invitations.
Right, so hopefully they will.
And we were hoping that they would contact me and let me know, and I have had a few responses, but not a lot yet, so. But I'm sure the firemen always.
Are always
Always
I can imagine. Shaftsbury will be there. Perfect.
Thank you. You
Thank
guys are
you. We
awesome.
appreciate that. Andrea, yes.
Yeah. Who, so if anybody wants to participate, they should contact Marlene by what date?
Tomorrow.
By tomorrow? Okay. I'm gonna digest.
So glad you asked.
By tomorrow at like noon?
Yeah, that'd
Okay.
be awesome.
That's good to know. Thank you so much.
The telephone number, Marlene, you want to say it for the cameras?
802-442-4038.
Okay.
That's the office number.
Okay, great.
They can email me, tomcrook@shaftsburybt.gov.
Okay, and is the Girl Scouts, are the Girl Scouts or the Boy Scouts going to
No, unfortunately,
Not.
they were already taken. I got
Someone took them.
Somebody took them?
Arlington has them.
They're spoken for.
Yeah.
Cookies are safe, Tony.
Hopefully taking good care of them.
Right. We're going to have to be on the planning a
We've gotta
little
be
bit
on
even before May next
Yeah.
year. We started early May, but we clearly missed the boat on a lot of these
Yes.
great organizations. So,
But we will get them next time.
we will. In 2 years, we'll be up and flowing.
Yes.
Hopefully well. So thank you, Marlene, for kind of taking this on and being part of this organization process and being the point person. We appreciate you. And I'm sure the town of Shaftsbury
I
very much
love this
does
town.
too.
I love that parade, and we're going to make sure it.
You're not going to walk behind the car again.
No, I'm not going to do that.
Good.
I will. If I do, I'll be throwing candy at kids, not walking it to them, because that I kept falling behind, and it was
I
terrible.
know. I was waiting to give your mouth to
What about me? Yeah, we were both running. It
Yeah, I know. You were both like out of breath. I was like worried.
We won't. We'll
in
just
much better
toss
shape
candy
this
this time. I'm not, so I'm tossing candy.
I'm going to be in the car.
Yes.
Okay,
Good.
okay.
Good. Good.
Thank you.
I'm going to be driving
We'll have a good
across.
time. It's always fun.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. And I think Paul is planning on being there, right?
Oh, I'll be there.
Excellent. Maybe if we can find anybody who has a classic car or anything, if you're
Yeah.
out there.
I don't.
Yeah.
Volunteer your car, please. We'd love to have somebody riding in it and waving.
And that person, if they volunteer, they could just show up at
They could.
8:15,
Yes.
for example.
8:15, yeah.
Or call me tomorrow by noon.
Yes.
Send it out in the digest.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, guys.
Great.
Thank you. Okay, great. Mr. Danzaro, we are on to the LEMP report. Thank you for coming.
Evening. Those who don't know me, Paul Dansero. Was appointed as Emergency Management Director of Shaftsbury, also a member of the Shaftsbury Fire Department, and a few other life experiences. So I guess, local emergency management plan, I guess just give you a quick overview for everyone. It's really the outline how the municipal government will coordinate support from the State Emergency Operations Center in the event of an emergency if it's necessary. It's not really a set 100% tactical plan where, pull this out, this is what we do for this event, this is what we do for that event. It's supposed to be more of the overarching coordination document that goes through the, general emergency management activities, and then some of the enclosures and annexes that could be included in that might have some additional details. The other thing to point out with them, on the state Vermont Emergency Management website, when you look at the page, it has a little bit more description on what the LEMPs are. It also has what could be a short template and a long template, and municipalities are able to tailor as need be. The one that was developed a couple of years ago initially with Dave Kiernan, I worked on, we used the short template as the guideline, and we also included one annex to the continuity of operations plan that was not a mandatory requirement, but that was put in because it made sense to also have that as part of the plan. The key things within the plan itself is there's an adoption form that, once the plan is ready, the select board present it, can adopt onto it. As part of the adoption form, it just states that it'll meet the following minimum requirements. One, has a list of all the planners, which our current one has that listed out. What our emergency operations center, how it would be arranged, would be potential members of it, man it. Our resources, what we have within the town, across, between the fire departments, highway, plus if we had any municipal contracts or anything that are staying in place, go through that piece. Public information and warning, how would our municipality get information out during the event of emergency? Identify some of our vulnerable populations within Shaftsbury. What would be potential shelter locations, and then, contact information. So that would be the minimum things, and I think our plan has a lot of that. I know there might be a couple other tweaks that we'll continue to make on it, but that's kind of the general overview, and I guess subject to questions if you had a chance to look at what was prepared already, or if there's any questions on it or areas that we want addressed.
And is this a yearly thing that gets updated?
Each year.
So every year kind of things will...
Well, at a minimum, every year, but as through the year, though, it's a working document, of course.
Sure.
So it can be updated as you continue to go along.
Okay. So there's just a date to complete?
There's a date to complete it, and the key part on that is more at the higher level, so that Vermont Emergency Management would know in the event of emergency, okay, the odds are they have the best contact people at each municipality. That's why it's the annual updates at a minimum in resources, et cetera.
Is there still training online? There used to be training online.
Yes, there is. The Vermont Emergency Management website itself, I visited again today to check. There's a tab for municipalities, and there's also training. There's a fair amount of online training that's available. There's also something that I'm going to continue to pursue for emergency management directors to have a certification. I'm pretty sure I could leave a good portion of the training. I just got to check the box, see which ones might have missed on that. But there's online stuff.
Can you chat with us about the section that has the emergency shelters?
Okay.
So, and I think when I was looking at this, and I think maybe what might be helpful for our town at least is to potentially create a little bit of a subcommittee, because I know that there were some questions that you had some questions about that I think we need to kind of go researching and look at and maybe discuss as a board, and then putting it in there. And so I think that might be a good thing. But one of them was about these shelters, because I know that we had gone back and forth about Shaftsbury Elementary School and whether or not it was a Red Cross shelter, which I know is no longer the case. We know that definitively, which was a thing, but to kind of see what kind of resources, if these were stood up, if there are things like, it has sections for warm, cool, overnight, those showers, things like that, which I know in certain limbs are, circled so that we know exactly that these are things that can happen there, but
Okay, so,
some things, yeah.
so I guess the first one I'd say is, like, the regional shelter, of course, as the one that the Red Cross is planning to stand up at Manatee Union Middle School. So, yes, the Red Cross, after going through a lot of research and finally had 100% commitment of, Red Cross does not have Shaftsbury Elementary School listed as an alternate site. What a plan might be is, obviously, it's a resource that is there. If that is something that we'd like to pursue, there's probably a couple angles that we'd want to look at. One would be engaging with the Red Cross, because that would be who we would look at for the standing our shelter up, manning it, running it, and providing those resources, have that available. Of course, the second piece would be entering in with a memorandum of understanding with the school district, and clearly outlining what the expectations and roles of each party would be.
Right.
So, it's a potential location.
Okay.
But right now, it's not one that, like I say, is ready to go if...
So at this moment, as far as these shelters go, really the only one
Regional.
that is there is Mount Anthony Middle School as a regional one. There isn't anything more local.
Correct.
If people need to get out to get somewhere, it's
Correct.
to Mount Anthony Middle School.
At the
Okay.
moment.
So
At
that
this moment.
means that as it stands now, we also have to think about transportation.
Correct.
And probably put something in about that.
So, and I think that'd be one as well, obviously, if it was, knock on wood,
Yes.
we haven't had a major
Right.
emergency of any type since probably Irene. I was not in the area at the time. But since that time, I don't think there has been anything that's stood up to do that. Now, saying that, there is always a potential we could have an incident just isolated in Shaftsbury. But more likely than not, though, it'd be something that we would not necessarily have a large issue with people requiring shelters, extended durations, if it was just isolated with us. I mean, obviously,
Right.
And I'm thinking if it was a major, weather event or power outage, usually that just affects certain areas. But again, there is going to be some upcoming training exercises that the state is planning on doing in October. First as a table talk of a large-scale regional Southern Vermont emergency based on a power outage, or winter storm power outage, which is very feasible. Then that's in October 24. As initials like the table talk stuff, we'll be part of that. Obviously plug into that exercise, but then a full-scale one in the following year. So these are, I think those are things that will keep, as we keep going through this, developing our plans a little bit more fidelity and take out.
And then, am I correct in understanding that when we have a COOP plan, a continuing operation plan, does that open up funding sources for us because we have that annex? Something I read somewhere, I think, because not every town has one of these plans. I think it's only the bigger towns that, and
What was,
seats.
so for the LEMP, to be updated annually, and that, if you don't have an updated LEMP, then if there was an event emergency, that funding would not become available.
Okay, that's what.
Having a continuity of operations plan, it's an optional annex.
Okay.
What I think it just helps us is gain a more fidelity of, on time spectrums.
Okay.
If we had 24 hours that Cole Hall wasn't operational, what are the bare minimum things that need to be happening? And that's what we try to outline.
Okay.
So, water department, obviously, because we need to keep town water moving, highway, And then what happens, 7 days,
Right.
a month. Because that's when we start, at some point, our town clerks still have to function to some level past a certain time frame.
Right. Okay.
Or, as an example, or treasurer, or any of our other functions within as a staff.
Payroll has to be made.
Exactly. Pretty important one.
Yeah.
Trucks have to be filled with diesel. Yeah.
But, so again, that's part of what that plan is trying to do, is outline, here, what are the critical functions at these timelines that still need to happen. And just helps you focus your efforts and try to get things moving.
Then I had one other thing. So, one of the other things that I think maybe a discussion should be happen with our select board is that other towns have built into their budgets an emergency spending limit. So in our LEMP right now, we have a $15,000 limit that Paula or Naomi as the chair can authorize if they need kind of emergency spending on something, God forbid anything happened. But I don't think that that is a line item in our budget at the moment, and I think that it might be something just so that we have it and we're not then trying to fumble kind of finding where to find this $15,000 if something were to happen. And as we start writing our 2026 budget, right, that's our next one, that maybe that's something that we put in as part of this just to have completeness of this plan.
I think, though, also that 15,000 spending limit would be, in the event of emergency, that is like the cap amount, though, that Paul or Naomi, you would have to do at that moment, I believe. So if there was a purchase that would say we needed 25,000, then it would have to, you have to look at what our purchasing policy is. But I think the purpose of that also was just to give the authorities to say, in the event of emergency, you could spend up to this amount.
Okay.
Is another way to look, not necessarily a finite,
Okay.
I think, line, I believe.
Good to know.
But may want to look at that a little more detail of,
Yeah, but to make sure that we have it around
right, well, true.
to use,
Yeah,
it
the
might be a
contingency
good
fund,
idea.
yeah.
And then it can go back into the general fund if we don't use it.
Great.
Right.
But I think that's also what the threshold,
Okay, that's the number. It wasn't an arbitrary number. It was something that,
I think it was that, I think that was, and I could look at that a little closer for you, but I think that was just that threshold of, you have the authority to spend up to that amount during an emergency on an event. Now, yes, the reimbursement in the event of emergencies, that's another factor that would come back in, but I guess the underlying assumption would also be other state or federal or whatever funding.
would
would
happen
be-
because we have one of these plans.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well,
I know Andrea wants to say something, but is there anybody on the board who wants to?
I just, my name was spelled wrong in there, which it's fine, but except.
I can't imagine how that happens.
It happens a lot, but it also, it's in a couple of places, but it's spelled wrong in the,
Page 7.
in there, but also here.
Oh, it's
More
the
importantly,
wrong
it's in the,
email.
So the H just goes behind the,
Oh, okay.
CICH. And I think there's two places, but it's my name, but also the email address, more importantly, actually.
We're getting fixed.
And my area code on my cell phone is 845, not 802.
That's already fixed. Just not on the
So
one.
work in progress.
It's a
with
work in
this,
progress, yes.
We'll get it
Tiny
all.
little things,
Yes.
yes. There's larger issues to address, and I want to get back to Martha's, question about how we're going to move forward on the next revision, but Andrea, I wanted to...
Just quickly, and thank you for that. So I'm aware of the Vermont Emergency Preparedness Conference in September. It should municipality, like I'm going to that as a potential speaker, but are municipalities supposed to go to that, or do we come to you? What do you think?
I mean, they're invited to attend.
Okay,
I'm not sure if I'm able to attend that or not,
gotcha.
but that is something that's going on.
Okay, yeah.
It was an opening, but
Yeah, I just learned about it. They're looking for speakers, if anybody wants to check that out, they're looking for speakers. But it's also, I was happy to hear about it, but I'm also happy you're here, so I don't know, like, you have a card before you leave?
not a Shaftsbury one, but I do have a business card for work.
Okay, yeah, it'd be good to keep in touch. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so you were thinking about
So my work.
I think
a committee approach to this,
a
rather than
subcommittee
putting it
approach.
all on
Yes, because I think...
Paula and Paul.
Yes, because I think that we need to have a little bit of conversation about things and some research on some of these
Right.
other options before we come back to say, oh, yes, this is, and to bring it back to the board, I think, to then vote, and then we can put it into these plans. Because I know that you and Paul went through this fairly closely and have sticky notes of some questions
Yeah,
that...
we had all the kind of the same
Okay,
questions,
that we
like
maybe-
who will staff
Right,
Yeah,
that maybe we can find the answer, so then we can put it in here, and that way it will really truly be a living document.
So what if the personnel on that were the personnel, the roles listed in the COOP? I didn't print it
Here we
out.
go, so the COOP,
Because that's the, right? It's, yeah, the planning team, which is the treasurer, the town clerk, the DPW foreman, the fire chief, the town administrator, the EMD, and the select board chair, or somebody from the select board. Because that's a functioning committee in the rubric of this anyway. Paul, would that make sense to you?
I think that would
Just to
make
meet
sense.
once.
It could be stuff as we move forward as well. I guess we'll look at a timeline too. And like I said, as we put our committees together, I don't think we would want to go without adopting a LEMP for too long a period.
That's right.
Because that's going to set us up for a potential, if there was an emergency.
Right.
Right.
So if I guess it would be look at if we have a document that is an acceptable level now with our context and what the
Agree.
purpose of the LEMP is supposed to be.
Get it in. and
Yeah.
then-
Then we might want to set up a longer one with the committee with some milestones of, maybe by, arbitrary date, pull a standing committee together and say, okay, we want to have at least an initial meeting with this goal and purpose and have, a timeline set up after that of, within by next year to have a lot more, or sooner, whatever we think.
We don't want to go for
what the
months
horizon
without.
is.
Yes.
So
In
that's the
fact,
only thing I
we
would.
could sign
I
it
think that we should, I move to accept this version of it tonight so that we are under compliance with the Vermont Emergency Management, and then we will set up that committee to kind of revise it down the road for next year.
In the course of a year.
In the course of the year.
And I will edit it one more time to make sure things are spelled right. before sending it in.
Can I have a second to that?
I'll second.
Okay, thanks, Mike. Any further discussion? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, we've got that, 401.
So just to summarize, I think, Paul, we just need that adoption form.
Oh, okay.
If we get the adoption form, then I think it's just the chair's signature,
Okay.
I believe.
All right.
But if we get that filled out, then we can get that submitted in with it.
Okay. I can do
Okay,
that
well,
by
so we have
this
to
week.
amend the motion that the chair is authorized to sign this?
I amend the motion that Naomi will sign on
Right.
behalf of the board this attestation or whatever you just called it.
Adoption form.
Adoption form of this current version of the LEMP for this year.
Second.
Second by Mike. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
We can do it Friday unless, I can do it before, but I'm definitely seeing you on
Sure,
Friday. So.
absolutely.
Thank you so much, Paul, for
Thank you very much.
explaining and
That was very clear and helpful.
Outside of the LAMP, the other thing, just I have been attending the Benton County Regional Emergency Management Committee, which Dara Zink, part of the Benton County Regional Commission, she's an emergency planner. With that, those are quarterly meetings. I did do some notes from the last one that we just had. I think Paul may have shared them, but it would be worth probably looking through that. It does outline some upcoming trainings, some other resources, and what I'll do is always provide kind of notes back once we attend those and
Thank you.
keep you in the loop on it.
That's very helpful. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Paul. We appreciate it.
Okay. We are now on to the EMS proclamation, and, we don't have,
I think we do.
Do we?
Right here, she has it.
oh, no, yes, I have it. No, we don't have any of the EMS personnel here.
We do.
We do. Paul,
is
that's
one of
right.
our
It's a
EMS.
twofer.
Okay, thank goodness. Because I really think it is important to just recognize out loud, on television, what you folks do all the time. So I'm going to read this for the record. I'm just going to read it out loud. Whereas emergency medical services is a vital public service. And whereas the members of the Bennington Rescue Squad are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Pulling it down.
Are they all coming up for this? Oh, wow.
Are they coming? I don't know.
Are they coming for this?
I'm going to wait.
Cute.
Yes.
Pretty good response.
Yeah.
I know. That's something to call.
The voice carried.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Well, maybe.
Maybe they're just coming to pick him up.
Maybe.
She had
Bride's
called the
here.
sheriff and the
Come on in and
invite
get
wasn't good enough.
proclaimed.
Oh, they've given their new rescue squad
A
name,
new ambulance?
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Which is wonderful. It's very nice.
I know that guy. He was driving the ambulance when they were
Perfect baseball.
As our very own medical person, do you want to speak to them? Would you like to read this out loud?
No, I'm going to do so. I liked writing and fixing
Hi,
it.
guys.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Sorry, we're late. It's been a busy day.
Welcome.
okay, you're actually
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much for coming
Thank you for
in.
coming. Well, we were...
Introduce those.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Syed Zaki Sadat. I'm new to the join the Bennington Rescue Squad. I'm coming from very far to that country. As I'm from is Afghanistan. I'm joined in the rescue squad right now. I'm the first responder in the Bennington Rescue Squad.
Thank you so
Wow,
much
thank you so
for
much.
serving
And welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to the county, the country, and
Of course.
And for serving.
and thank you for serving.
Hi, I'm Sidney Richmond. I'm with the Rescue Squad from Bennington, and I'm an EMS trainee at the moment.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
It's a long way from Bennington.
It's a very long drive.
Yes.
you so much for your service.
And I'm Rick Knoll. I've been here, I don't know, about 14 years now. About 35 in all. And happy to be here. Happy to help out.
Thank you so
for
much.
joining us today. You had perfect timing. We
Perfect
were just
timing.
about
We
to
were
read this.
just starting to read the proclamation. Okay, to designate the week of May 20th to 27th, 2024 as Emergency Medical Services Week. Whereas emergency medical services is a vital public service, and whereas the members of the Bennington Rescue Squad are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and whereas access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury, and whereas emergency medical services has grown to fill a gap by providing important out-of-hospital care, including preventative medicine, referral to resources in our community, and follow-up care. Wow. And whereas the emergency medical services team consists of first responders, emergency medical technicians, advanced emergency medical technicians, paramedics, emergency medical dispatchers, firefighters, police officers, educators, administrators, pre-hospital nurses, emergency physicians, trained members of the public, and other out-of-hospital medical care providers. And whereas the members of the Bennington Rescue Squad, whether career or voluntary, engage in thousands of hours of specialized training and continuing education to enhance their life-saving skills. And whereas it's appropriate to recognize the value and the accomplishments of emergency medical services providers by designating Emergency Medical Services Week, now therefore, the town of Shaftsbury, in recognition of this event, hereby proclaims the week of May 20th to 27th, 2024 as Emergency Medical Services Week.
Thank you so much for that.
We actually, I think, need a vote on this, right?
Yes, I think we do.
We need a motion to formalize our applause.
I'll make a motion to adopt this proclamation.
Thank you, Mike.
I'll second.
Thank you, Tony. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hands here. I think shaking hands is a good thing. Thank you so much for all of your work. Thank you very much. We appreciate you coming. We appreciate all your service. Thank you, Dave. Paul. Thanks.
Thank you, welcome.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Come to see you again. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony.
All right. We know that you're probably journeying on to the next or the next
Round of
call,
thank yous.
but we appreciate everything. And we will send a copy of this proclamation to Bill, your leader, and that way he can display it, because I know this whole week you have all sorts of events happening. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for spending time. Lovely.
That's great. Okay. Scheduling quarterly reports from committees and town officials. Would you like to talk about this, Martha?
Tonight, I guess it's just me talking a lot.
That's good.
So one of the things that we had chatted about in, I want to say maybe February or March, was talking about having a schedule for all of the town officials that had been appointed, but also all of our town committees, to send a report to each of our liaisons quarterly, so that then they could report back to us as a board. So we kind of have a sense of what is happening, because there is a lot happening, it seems like, at least from me popping into various committees. We've also had a lot of new committees that have kind of come online, especially with the Town Green project in the community center, and soon a newly formed energy committee. So there are lots of different ones. And so I wanted to just kind of chat with our group about what we think, if we think quarterly makes sense, if we kind of maybe can set up those quarters tonight to kind of just figure out how to just kind of implement a plan, I guess, for...
I was going to say, how about the chair of the committee coming to the board?
Rather than the liaison.
Yeah, and instead of the liaison.
That's an
I mean,
option.
because they know a lot more than we do.
Yeah, and then we can ask questions direct rather than...
So that's so maybe from the standing committees, then we'd have that. But then there are lots of other appointed officers, like Paul, who is our emergency management coordinator. Jackie Myers is our health officer. I don't know if we've heard from them. So maybe the appointed officers, they could just send us an email report, maybe to Paula, to just say, hey, are there any things happening? Our animal control office.
In other words, everybody who writes a report for the annual town meeting.
Yes, I think that would
list
cover
of
all of those people, and
it would include zoning and the DRB, right?
Yep, and the energy committee, this community development center committee, the sewer feasibility. I think both standing and ad hoc, it would be nice to just have a sense, but then all of the appointees, like the health commissioner, health officer, thank you, and the other folks. There's a whole list, I think.
Tree warden.
Yes, the tree warden is one of them. And so we're currently in May at the moment, and we're going to be starting a new fiscal year shortly, and so maybe quarterly from the kind of the new fiscal year for having folks kind of so every.
Is everybody feeling on board with that as a good idea? You want to modify it and shift it in any way?
I think we could start that way, and if some of them, I think the tree warden doesn't usually have all that much to say, so he might say, biannually, or even, we could leave it
Or we could set everybody up quarterly, and if they didn't have anything to say, they could pass that time.
That's, yeah, I was just gonna say that, yeah. Like the health officer, but,
Yeah.
I mean,
think
she
if
would,
we-
she's not active all the
Let's hope
time.
not.
No.
I think that's why I was thinking that maybe the appointee people, like the tree warden and those folks, could just send a message to Paula, who
Yeah.
could then report
Yeah.
back, and then the folks that are part of the standing and ad hoc committees currently of the select board could then come in. But then we'd have to kind of stagger them, I feel like, because otherwise we're going to get, one meeting, a report from like 7 committees, which that was one of the things that why I was thinking maybe to go through the liaisons, but I think you're right. If you want to ask questions,
Yeah.
it makes sense to have it through the
Well, I
chair.
mean, yeah, I mean, that
And so
just
maybe
makes
over a
sense.
few weeks,
Yeah.
that we could say,
So what about the bigger people like the zoning and me for Shelley?
Yeah, and then we
Do
have-
we have to like come here and write just another report?
I don't know. These
So-
are
You
questions.
look really enthusiastic
curious.
about that idea.
Well,
It's just- I write a report every month for my committee.
Okay, and
So then I have to write one.
no, but maybe
The cemetery
it's
I'm
committee?
just curious. How do you
so
want
maybe
that?
a
I
sharing.
think you would give a summary
Okay.
of those last 3 months.
Okay.
But you had already written the things,
Right.
so it would just be sort of cutting and pasting.
Right. Okay.
Right?
And that way, we would just have a sense of kind of, because we don't get to come to all of your meetings because you
You can
meet
come.
during the day. And so, but
More the merrier.
we hear that they're really fun meetings, so I'm sad that we miss out
The
on that
cemetery committee, the jolliest committee in town. Yep.
We can have all kinds of people.
But I think that would be,
Okay.
and so, if we started in July and we could, maneuver them out throughout that time, those 2 meetings that July, and that way we don't have 5 reports. Yeah.
Joy.
Okay, so let's just summarize what we have decided. Starting in July, a staggered list of reports on a quarterly basis will be due either to Paula in writing, and then she will present them on the date we've defined, or the committee chairs will show up here in person so that we can interact with them directly. And that will be all chairs of all the standing committees and ad hoc committees and all the appointed officers in the town. Right?
That's a nice. Sure.
Okay. And maybe we could do that together on Friday, right? Great. I don't think we need to vote about that.
I don't think so either, because it's just kind of a
It's just
thing.
procedure. Yeah, okay. Great. Any other business?
I have a request from Fire Chief Joe Vatican, who would like to use, let me read this so I get it right, the house behind Cole Hall that we've emptied, Casella, remember they got everything out?
$9,000?
For SCBA training, which is self-contained breathing apparatus training, and this would be a non-destructive drill with no live fire and only the use of their in-house theatrical smoke machine. So he's asking for permission to have training in there.
The in-house theatrical smoke machine.
I really want to see this experience.
I can remember more.
But they used to
Never
have
spoken.
I'd love to take pictures from
That's how
that.
they do it.
Wow, yeah.
That's exciting. That's
It is.
And it's great training for the guys.
They would
Yeah.
actually set houses like that.
They used to, yeah, they used to
But I
set
think
them on
it's,
fire.
they don't want to because it's in the middle of town.
Yeah, I don't think they do it at all
Yeah,
anymore. actually.
not anymore. you know,
Right.
you know, because of
We had a shack
asbestos.
taken down like that once as well.
Yeah. They used to.
All right.
That's a perfect house for that because you got little tiny narrow stairways.
Yeah.
When you fill that full of smoke, they won't know where they're at.
Yeah.
Cleaned out.
That's very true. And they won't
It's
trip over
$9,000 worth cleaned out.
That's right. We can charge them rent to recap a little bit.
Okay, so can I have a motion to allow the fire department to use the newly purchased house north of Cole Hall for
43
training
Buckham Road.
purposes?
So moved.
I'll second that.
Moved by Tony, seconded by Mike. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 401, that's great. Okay. You're probably going to watch from your window.
I'm going to tape it.
Totally. Going to go outside and
Peer in windows as the theatrical smoke
Yeah.
machine does its thing.
You could be the damsel there, rescuing
That's right.
up top.
Help.
Yeah,
so mean.
I would like to talk about rescheduling the special public meeting to discuss the state guidelines on stormwater mitigation and management. Remember, we were going to have a meeting, maybe not a special select board meeting, but a meeting at which we were going to invite the public to discuss the document that we put on the website about
Oh, you mean about the town road?
About the roads,
Oh,
yeah.
yes, okay.
It's stormwater,
The
it's about
storm-
stormwater management, that
Yes.
document. And I think we had actually agreed to do it in a time that is now past.
It was, yes.
yeah, that was
It was supposed to be the May 6th meeting, but somehow slipped us.
Somehow slipped past us. So I think it might be a good idea to reschedule that.
Our next meeting is June 3rd.
The next meeting is June 3rd. Does that sound okay?
Mikey and Addie.
Mike Yanati will be back, right?
He is back.
He is back. And we'll be getting a DPW report from him that time anyway. Right.
Sure.
It looks like it'll be a long meeting, but yeah, is that okay with everybody?
Sure.
Okay. So we need to announce that on the website and in the cemeteries. I'm sorry. We need to announce that.
I'm so tired.
Good, okay. So we will have that meeting. We encourage all the public interested in that issue to attend via Zoom or in public, and to please read the document that's up on the website about the maintenance of roads, state guidelines for stormwater management before coming. Okay. Anybody have any others? Okay. Review of action items.
The only one is the formation of the LEM committee going down the road to kind of
Right.
do some of the research of the questions that Paula has.
Right. Okay.
And to send the EMS proclamation to Bill Camarda.
Okay.
The signed one, yeah. Which is very nice in this yellowed paper.
I know.
It
It's
gives some
nice paper, right?
distinguished look here. Parchment.
Have Joe tell me when he's going to do that training. So I can take it.
We're all going to know when Joe's doing that training, not to worry. We will all know.
Jen won't be left out.
It's got to go on Facebook.
It's going to go on Facebook? That's great.
Okay. I'll record it.
Okay. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
No, go to executive session.
Yes, we have to adjourn this one
We
then
have to
to start
adjourn
the
this one
next
first.
one.
Right. Well, no, we don't adjourn it.
Oh,
Just
We
pause.
go into executive session.
really? I thought the water board meeting was public.
So just
But the first part of this water board meeting is public.
Okay, but we still have to.
Recording stopped.
We're just pausing.
We still have to.
Well, you wouldn't adjourn this meeting.
Yeah, because they're two
They're separate
different.
meetings.
they're two-
We're different
Oh, right,
people,
right,
we're two
right.
different-
Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, we are the same.
Yeah, right, sorry.
It's the
Right.
mac and cheese.
Sorry. My fault.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the select board meeting.
Thank you.
Let's resume.
I
I'll
have a second. Thank you. Second by Tony. All in favor?
Aye.
401. Okay, thank you. So that marks the end of the select board meeting of Monday, May 20th.